before we get rolling with this week's episode, I have a quick announcement. My 2016 hardcover portfolio book, which is an edition of 100, there's only like 10 of them left now. Actually, I think it might be 9 because another order came in just before doing this video here. And I very, very much appreciate the book sales. You guys are awesome because that's one of the things that really allows me to do what I love here. And it's a book I'm really proud of, and I'm pretty sure it'll probably sell out within the next week or so. If you guys are interested in that, you go to my website, benhorn.com. There's a link down below. There's more information down there. But this week's video is all about packing all those awkwardly shaped large format lenses and cameras and stuff in a backpack and how I do it. Hope you guys enjoy. What is going on, everyone? So in this week's episode, I want to talk a little bit about carrying large format equipment in the field. And this is something I've kind of struggled with through the years, because you'll find that there's not a lot of off-the-shelf solutions that are really ideal. 4x5 isn't so bad, but with 8x10, basically the cameras aren't even going to fit in any of the normal size photo backpacks. And even if they did, the harnesses might not be comfortable enough to actually carry the load. So I use a traditional backpacking bag, which is just a very, very simple bag with access through the top of the bag. But there's no padding or anything like that, so you have to find a way to carry all the equipment in there. And so I recently got the new camera, the ARCA Swiss. So I had to go through the whole process again of trying to find just the perfect way of carrying the equipment, so I have the ease of access to the equipment, so I can pull in stuff out of the bag in the right order, so everything is well protected. I figured rather than talking about that in the studio here, because it's probably like 95 degrees right now in my home office, I figured let's hit the trail and I'm going to show you exactly how I carry all my large format gear while hiking. So I came here to Rancho Cuyamaca State Park. This is the area I like to go for test hikes, just because there's all kinds of different types of terrain here. There's some really steep trails, there's some sort of flat stuff like this right here. And so it's kind of a good test my setup, test my legs, make sure everything's all in good shape. But I'm up here today because I do have a new camera. I have a new way of carrying it. So I make sure that it's comfortable and everything works well out in the field. I figured this would also be a good opportunity to show you guys how I carry all the various bits of large format gear. The backpack I use, this is the Gregory Denali Pro. It's now a discontinued model, but I've had this one since 2013. And this is by far the most comfortable backpack I've ever used, and I'm pretty sure the new version of it would be comfortable as well, but I can tell you for certain that this one is. But the backpack doesn't really have any provisions on its own to carry large format gear. It's just a cloth backpack. So in order to carry the gear, I have to put everything in various padded pouches and stuff along those lines. But once I get to my potential shooting destination, about a mile further up the trail, I'm gonna unpack everything and show you how it all fits in there. So I've arrived at my destination here, and there's some kind of cool buckwheat over here. There's some clouds that might show up over there, so it's kind of speculation, but we'll see what happens. But the main thing is I wanted to show you basically how I pack everything in this bag, how I make it accessible so I can pull it out in pretty much the right order that I need it, because that's one of the things that's pretty important. But first of all, we have the tripod right here, and this will be mounted right on the side of the pack. And this is my 3 Series Gitzo tripod. And what I do on this one is I don't carry the top plate on it. And the main reason for that is that it's actually attached to my tripod head. That way I can kind of use it as a quick release. So we're gonna set that up right there. Now, if I open up the top of my pack, there are 2 drawstrings here. This is certainly not going to be as fast as a traditional photo backpack, but I've kind of done the best that I can. And inside there, I have this container. This is from Tenba. This is the BYOB 13. It's a padded divider set, completely enclosed there with a zipper. There's nothing really on the outside that's going to catch on things, so this is really ideal for if you're going to be dropping, this bag inside a backpacking pack. They make a bunch of different sizes, this being the largest, but I can fit 4 8x10 lenses in here, as well as a tripod head. And I like the fact there's a handle on the top. I can just pull it right out, just like that. So this normally gets set down on the ground, so I can open it up and work out of it. Then here I have the ARCA Swiss Cube head. I have it in its own little padded pouch here from Tamrac. Gonna drop back that in there. And lock this down in place just like that. So the rest of the stuff inside this case, basically I have all of my lenses. They are in these wraps right here. This is also from Tenba. And this way they can be right up against each other. They're not gonna, nothing's gonna get damaged. But I have 4 lenses in here and it fits like a Tetris game. So it's pretty ideal in that regard. So that's where that goes. On the other side of the pack over here is where I store the rail for the ARCA Swiss camera. This is a custom case that was made by Dan Stone and really works out very well. All I have to do is just pull that right out of there and go ahead and drop this into place like so. As far as the camera itself, this was the tricky one because I had to try to find just the perfect case to be able to fit the camera and the film holders. And I will say it's a pretty tight fit. But this case here is from Vanguard. And so this was, I think, originally meant to be inside of some sort of hard case as a divider set. But the dimensions are absolutely perfect for storing the ARCA Swiss 8x10 camera as well as the film holders. So I have all the film holders here. There's a total of 4 of them in cases from Dan Stone as well. And then the camera itself protected with all the bellows and everything else there. Light meter, stopwatch, everything else I need in place there. But this is the way that I keep everything nicely organized and protected. So as I'm hiking around with it, nothing is gonna get damaged. And now we'll just see what happens with these clouds here because there's a chance I might get some cool clouds in the background along with some of the cool plants here in the foreground that kind of emulate the clouds. So we'll see what happens. All right, well, I am back in my little home studio here after going for the hike. And that was fun today. It was fun to get out there and throw the weight on my back. And you guys couldn't tell from the videos, but I actually had to climb up a fair amount of elevation to get to the area where I was. And when I first got there, there were these really cool clouds that were kind of off in the distance a little bit and would have looked really nice with some of these white flowers and stuff in the foreground. And I had 4 sheets of FP4 black and white film with me, but the conditions were just changing too fast. And after I finished filming that video, there was a pretty gnarly thunderhead that was starting to form directly over the head of where I was. And I was up on kind of a higher area, so I figured it would probably be best if I'm not up there. So I packed it back down to my truck. So it would have been fun to expose some film, but at the same time, I don't want to get struck by lightning. So, you gotta kind of play it safe for that. But there's a couple of things I did want to add. I've been using that Tenba, the BYOB 13 bag that I put all the lenses in. I've been using that since, I think, the fall of last year. And I really like their bags. I also have one of the smaller ones as well, which I actually have sitting right over here. So this is a smaller version of that bag. And this is one I used to put the hood and some filters and other stuff in. And this one's a little bit redundant now just because I have all that stuff in some other cases, but I'll find a good use for this guy as well. But take a look at those bags. Really good padded dividers, setups for if you're gonna be dropping it inside a traditional backpacking type bag. When I went on my backpacking trip in the spring, the way that I carried the ebony camera was actually with 2 neoprene shopping bags that kind of, one goes over the camera one way, one goes over the camera the other way. And it was enough to keep it so those knobs didn't kind of snag anything. And it's a really lightweight solution. So basically you have to find creative ways of carrying this equipment in the field. But my main thing is I want to make sure that I get to the equipment in the order that I need it. This is especially important if you're working somewhere kind of near the water or something like that, where you just don't want stuff sitting out in precarious areas and stuff like that. But I've been very happy with the system I developed. And yes, in a perfect world, it would be great if I had a backpack I could just lay on the ground, open up the side that goes against my back and pull out the camera, the lenses, and have everything laid out there. But I really haven't quite seen something that is a really good fit for the 8x10. And besides, even if there was one, I don't know how good the harness would be, because the harness on the Gregory pack I use is really good. I mean, I can load that thing up when I go on my backpacking trips, and I'm really, really happy with that. But I want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you around next week.